Debuting a new car in NHRA competition. This is the new Buick Somerset Regal body, sitting atop that 2,500 horsepower engine. From Granada Hills comes Dale McClelland, and he proved his value as a driver in the first round of competition when he was racing against Tim Gross. In the near lane is McClelland, just off the starting line. He smoked the tires. Everybody thought, well, that's the end of it. No, he recovered and went on to win over Tim Gross with a fine 5.86 second, 251-mile-an-hour charge. But this is the man that everyone is talking about, Kenny Bernstein from Dallas, Texas. In the last 3 national events, Kenny Bernstein has won 2 and been in the finals. His most recent final round appearance was at the Cajun Nationals, where he was defeated, upset by Jim Head. Kenny Bernstein, along with his crew chief Dale Armstrong, has put this car on the cutting edge of technology.
We've talked about computers on board these drag racing cars before, but they were really a novelty item more than anything else. They were big, they were heavy, and the vibration of the car seemed to give you more gibberish out of the computer than hard data. But no more. This is a twin to the computer that now rides on board Kenny Bernstein's record-holding funny car. It weighs about 2 pounds, developed by crew chief Dale Armstrong. Now, this will monitor 20 times a second down the racetrack, as many as 8 different functions. Now, what they really want to know is engine RPM all the way down that racetrack and the drive shaft speed. That tells them the clutch slippage. They also monitor the flow of the fuel and even Kenny's throttle foot, okay? If Kenny said, well, I shut it off early, Dale can tell by the readout they get after they plug this into a printer in the trailer if indeed that happened. Now, they're going to market these very soon for all types of race cars. Around $2,000 is the figure that I've heard. Now, for a crew chief in NASCAR like Junior Johnson or Waddell Wilson, this would be a real boon, but I'm not sure the drivers would care for it much because there'd be no line your way out of anything with a monitor on your throttle foot.
Steve, when the drivers run out of excuses, things could be difficult, but for Kenny Bernstein, he's not needed any this season. No excuses either for Dale McClelland. We saw his brilliant driving job in round 1. Can he pull it off in round 2? No, he cannot. Kenny Bernstein with a tremendous margin at the finish line astonishes him again. 5.74 seconds at 249 miles an hour. Absolutely the picture of consistency. Here's Don Prudhomme. He's been to the winner's circle at the Spring Nationals 3 times in his long and illustrious career. Prudhomme is racing against Ed McCulloch, driver for Larry Minor. This is the funny car of Team Minor's operation. Prudhomme from Granada Hills, California, holds the distinction of winning the World Championship title 4 consecutive years. Ed McCulloch, now living in Hemet, California, and driving for Larry Minor, won this event, but it was way back in 1972. The Minor racing team operation has to be seen to be believed. There are 2 top-fuel dragsters, one driven by Minor, the other driven by Gary Beck. Then this Oldsmobile-bodied funny car driven by Ed McCulloch. Quite an operation in championship drag racing. McCulloch in the near lane, Prudhomme in the far lane, and Prudhomme appears to be pulling ahead at this point. As they near the finish line, Prudhomme by about a car length at 5.79 seconds. His speed over 251 miles an hour sends McCulloch back to Hemet, California. Here's John Collins. Collins, an upset winner over Rick Johnson in round number 1 as he used a hole shot off the starting line to put away the quicker qualifying Johnson. Here it is Collins against Tom McEwen. John, a former Californian, now called Claremore, Oklahoma, home base for his funny car operation. For Tom McEwen, Fountain Valley is his home, and with over 20 years of experience in this straight-line quarter-mile sport, Tom McEwen has got the reputation as being one of the premier drivers. He's probably best known for his former business partnership with the man that won the previous round, Don Prudhomme.
Well, Don Prudhomme continues to get ever closer to the performance of Kenny Bernstein, of 5.79.
I know I had to step up a little bit against the ace. You know, he's plenty tough, and this thing's starting to come around. Who knows?
Maybe there's a little more room to go.
Well, we think so. You know, it's kind of stumbling leaving the start line, so we'll see. Maybe we can pick the pace up a little bit more.
Lane choice, you think an advantage, Don?
I like the right, you know, and I think it is right now, yes.
Okay, Don Prudhomme, he's got his confidence back for sure.
He's been struggling throughout this season, but he's got it back at this event, that right-hand lane that he refers to, the far lane from our Diamond P Sports camera, occupied now by Tom McEwen. John Collins in the near lane used that hole shot in round number 1 to defeat Rick Johnson. Can he parlay a second advantage off the starting line to a victory here? And once again, it is Collins out first. McEwen starts to smoke the tires, drifts out of the track just a little bit, and right at the finish line, John Collins with his second consecutive upset, a 5.98 second elapsed time, speed only 240 miles an hour, losing the escape hatch off the top of the body. As we watch in replay, you see Collins building his advantage right at the starting line. But McEwen does not give up. He hangs with it as the car drifts out towards the edge of the track, and at the finish line, by a matter of a few feet, John Collins defeats a quicker Tom McEwen. The time indicating Collins gaining his advantage at the starting line, and it pays off at the finish.
Well, John Collins apparently turned on the air conditioning going through the light as the escape hatch blew right out of the top of the car. Collins, as long as it was open, decided to crawl out that way. John, good driving. Another hole shot puts you in the semis.
We've been lucky today, haven't we, Steve?
Good driving, too.
Thank you. It's about time I do my job. These guys have been doing a pretty good job all year, so if I can help them out, it makes me feel good.
Well, a 598 will not make them smile.
Now, the performance was off, but I think we know why the performance is off. We've kind of been toying around with it a little bit, and it ought to run better next time.
What are you going to do?
Fuel system, way off.
I won't even ask. That's the secret in these cars, the fuel system. He's not about to tell me or anybody else.
As the crew heads back with John Collins to the pit area, they have got not only the normal maintenance, but they have got to repair that roof hatch. Our final pair of cars in this second round of competition, back at the starting line, in the near lane, is John Force. In the far lane from Waco, Texas, is Billy Meyer. Billy, embarking on a brand new venture in the sport of drag racing, has just broken ground on a new racing plant being constructed near Dallas, Texas. John Force has had the misfortune of not winning an NHRA National Championship event. Everyone wonders why. It is sometimes just a matter of luck. His performance is right up there with the best of the racers on any given day, but it has just not been John Force's day yet to make it to the winner's circle. Both cars inching gently into the staging beams, the lights at the top of the Christmas tree indicating both drivers are ready. It's a green light start, and the tires on John Force's car losing traction. You can see the smoke coming off the back of the car, and it gives the win to Billy Meyer. 5.81 seconds at 242 miles an hour moves Meyer into the semifinals against the upset-minded John Collins. Our other match finds the class of the field thus far. Kenny Bernstein with lane choice against Don Prudhomme. Way near Columbus, Ohio, the crew for Billy Meyer hard at work buttoning up that nitro-burning racing engine after the between rounds maintenance. These engines come completely apart, the parts, the pieces checked, including even the tires. There's lots of work going on throughout the entire pit area, including under the tent of Don Prudhomme.
If you're going to have a look at the pit action of Don Prudhomme, you better be willing to fight the crowds because they are all around this 40-footer as Don mixes the fuel, just about ready to push it up into the staging lanes where he's going to meet Kenny Bernstein. That lack of lane choice, does it concern you at all, Snake?
Yeah, I'm quite concerned about it. A little more concerned about the starting line right now. We're going to take one thing at a time and try to get off to a nice smooth start. And what happens in the middle happens in the middle. It seems to be a little loose, but I think we can get through it.
Really have to keep an eye on the atmospheric condition today. The air just goes back and forth.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, as you well know. You know, these things are subject to pick up and or slow down depending on what the air is doing. It's hard to tune it, but I think we're okay.
Okay, well, good job today.
Thanks.
As the work continues in the funny car pit area, the attention of this overflow crowd is directed to the starting line as we're set for the semifinals in Pro Stock Eliminator. These are the factory hot rods, the Pontiacs and the Oldsmobiles in this matchup. Warren Johnson in the far lane, Butch Leal in the near lane. For Butch Leal, a former Californian known as the California Flash, now lives in Blacklick, Ohio. One of the greatest races of his career came in round number 2 when he raced against Bob Glidden's Ford Thunderbird. Glidden, the low qualifier, was defeated by a tremendous hole shot by Butch Leal. At the finish line, it was a matter of car lengths as Butch Leal drives his Pontiac Trans Am to a win at 7.73 seconds.
Got a shot at the second race in 1 year.
Well, that's what we're here for, and I'd like to win. I got one in a row, so I need another Oscar.
Talking about the Trophy NHRA Awards, the Eliminator winners, Butch Leal. What a driver.
Racing against Leal is Warren Johnson from Duluth, Georgia. Based on qualifying times, Johnson has got the advantage. He moved in 2 spots higher than did Leal in this 16-car field. These cars with 500 cubic inch engines with 2 4-barrel carburetors running on gasoline are exotic race cars. And no better example is this Pontiac of Butch Leal, the recent winner of the Southern Nationals in Atlanta, Georgia. It's hard to see from the grandstand, but there's some new changes inside.
Back in the late 1960s, when the Pro Stock class was first conceived, the cars were traveling under 140 miles an hour. But even then, NHRA required that they carry a full chrome moly steel roll cage throughout the automobile, much like you find in today's NASCAR Grand National cars. But this weekend, the speeds were approaching 190 miles an hour. And a few of the drivers, especially Butch Leal, whose Trans Am I've borrowed here, are saying, wait a minute, we want the kind of protection that the Top Fuel and Funny cars enjoy. So Butch went to race car builder Don Ness, and here is the result. Now, the old cage is still required in the car, and you see it here. Butch had him add this hoop, all these adjoining bars. And I can tell you, just sitting in the car myself, it feels much more secure. Imagine none of this was here, and the next bar was clear over here. So it's a big step forward. And what's a few pounds when it comes to your body, as Butch told me? There's even some talk about NHRA raising the minimum weight of these cars from 2,350 pounds so that more drivers might be encouraged to go to this on their own as opposed to it being made mandatory. I like it, Butch.
Steve, these are highly refined race cars. Butch Leal's Pontiac, the Oldsmobile Calais of Warren Johnson. Can Leal pull another hole shot? No, he does not. They're off the mark together. And as they approach the finish line, the Oldsmobile, with obviously more power at this race, takes home the win and moves into the finals. 7.66 second elapsed time, 180 miles an hour the speed. At the starting line, the Ford Thunderbird, Frank Iaconio from Totowa, New Jersey. Frank was one of the strongest proponents of Chevrolet power until this season when he made the big switch and is now at the wheel of a Ford Thunderbird. Chevrolet, synonymous with Rare and Morrison out of Arlington, Texas. Their driver, Bruce Allen, taking over the wheel following the untimely death of Lee Shepard earlier this season. In the far lane, driving the Camaro, is Bruce Allen, Iaconio and his Ford in the near lane. All eyes concentrating on these two cars on the starting line. The classic battle between makes Ford versus Chevrolet, and it appears Iaconio with the advantage. But the power of the Chevrolet seems to be pulling ahead at this point. At the finish line, it's very close. Bruce Allen into his first final round appearance in Pro Stock Eliminator, 7.68 seconds. His speed, 176 miles an hour. The pairings for the final. Warren Johnson against Bruce Allen by 0.02 of a second. Johnson having lane choice. Back in the pit from John Collins. It is repair time to the roof hatch. Get out the tape and hold it down.
My personal favorite is cheat.
Steve, no matter what it is that Bernie Vetterli has done, he's done it right because his driver, Gary Beck, has got low elapsed time of elimination. Looking at the gauges in the cockpit of Gary Beck's car, telling him the status of his engine as he approaches the starting line. Joe Amato in the near lane, Gary Beck in the far lane. The semifinals of Top Fuel, the winner to move into the final round. Joe Amato needs this win to expand his points lead, and Gary Beck stopping. A great race off the starting line. At the finish, Gary Beck finding horsepower that he had been missing throughout the year. The win, 5.72 seconds. His speed, a slowing 210 miles an hour. For Joe Amato, it's got to be a disappointment to get to this point and then out of competition. Here's the upset winner in the previous round. This is Bill Mullins. He defeated Don Garlett. Mullins will be in the near lane racing against Dick LaHaye. The winner of this race will earn the right to match against Gary Beck in the final. Beck, in winning his semifinal round, fell off just a bit in performance.
So Gary Beck goes into the final round of the Spring Nationals. This is hard work.
Yeah, it is. It's fun, though. It's fun to get a few rounds going, but we got the Miller American car back, I think. We're happy.
Especially beating Amato. I know you like him, but that's a guy you're going to have to beat for the World Championship. He picked your pocket last year.
He is. They're tough. You know, Joe is extremely hard, and, you know, the Top Fuel, we don't have a lot of them, but we got 6 real good ones out there, and it's fun to be back and beat a few of them.
For Gary Beck, his first final round appearance since 1984, the month of July, when he won the NHRA Grand Nationals. Dick LaHaye, the winner of the Gator Nationals earlier this season. His competitor, Bill Mullins, was the runner-up to Don Garlits just one race ago at the NHRA Cajun Nationals. Mullins likes to attribute his victories to luck, but he's also got the performance. For Dick LaHaye, he recorded the quickest elapsed time of his career in qualifying at 5.59 seconds. He would love to duplicate that here. Bill Mullins, a tremendous advantage off the starting line. A little tire smoke.